Hello, and welcome to this workshop on survey distribution options on the Qualtrics platform. From the Center for Teaching, Research, and Learning at American University, this is part one of a two-part series of videos. In this workshop, we will be going over the distribution tab in Qualtrics and how to track responses and get response metrics with the distribution summary, different options for survey distributions, and how to pause data collection. This is part one out of two in the series. In this video, we're going to be covering how to create a Qualtrics distribution and get started. We'll go over how to use the distribution with different channels and different methods of distributing your survey and how to just get it going with a bunch of different options. Okay, so we're going to open up Qualtrics now. Okay, now that we have got Qualtrics pulled up, and just to make clear, this workshop assumes that you've already created a Qualtrics account and have had some experience with making a basic survey. So if you need help with creating an account through your AU credentials or creating a survey in general, please see the earlier workshop videos to get yourself started with that. So this is our example survey that we've used in previous workshops. We're on the survey tab right now where you create the questions, but to get started with how to do survey distributions, we're going to go to the distribution tab, which can be found on the top horizontal menu, and it's right in the middle right here on that top horizontal menu bar. So we're going to go ahead and click that. And after we select that tab, you should be able to either see, depending if you've done distributions or not, a little graphic with different channels of distribution you can select, and then it'll show you different methods. Or if you've already done some kind of distribution, as we have for this example survey, then you'll be able to see the distribution summary with some metrics about summarizing how each distribution is doing. But again, if you haven't distributed the survey yet at all, it'll look like the former slide that we saw. So let me pull that back up real quick. It would look like this slide right here. So if we make that a little bigger, that's what you should see if you haven't distributed your survey at all. It'll ask you, how do you want to distribute? And then have a little graphic with each different channel in this part right here that you would select, and then different methods within each channel. So under email channel, if you select that, you'll have a few different options. Under web channel, if you select that, you'll have a few different options as well. So we're gonna go ahead and close that. But since we have already distributed the survey, it has the response summaries instead. So for the first video, we're going to be going over the email distributions and the web distributions, which include anonymous links and personal links. So to get started, let's go to the anonymous link first. And once we select that on the left-hand side, you can see an anonymous survey link is generated, and you can just copy that link by selecting the blue button in the right-hand corner, and that'll automatically copy the link, and you can paste it into emails or into social media posts or send it out via Messenger or any other uh, online communications. You can even send it to yourself and text it to people. So that is an option of sending an anonymous survey link. Of course, keep in mind that while this link is reusable and it won't be different for any of your respondents, that also means it's not going to be able to be tracked with any kind of identifying information or any way to identify respondents beyond the questions you ask in the survey. So if you are doing a survey where you want to have any kind of tracked information or identifying information, then you cannot use anonymous links or you will have to ask those questions in the survey. Um, so just keep that in mind. Anonymous link will be anonymous survey results. And then in addition, you have the opposite of that, which is personal links. And if we select that, you can generate links for a custom distribution. We hit that, then you will select a contact list, either from a library where you've created one before, or you can make a new contact list and enter emails and first and last names. That will give you a separate link for each individual, and you can send them that link. Um, and then that way you can track identifying information through those links. So those are two options for web distributions. In addition, we're going to go over email distributions. So the email distribution uses either the Qualtrics mailer or your own email system to send custom survey invitations. So please note, just like the links and web distributions we went through, the email can either be anonymous or personal links. Anonymous links, again, will not record identifying respondent information, while personal links distribute a unique link for each email slash respondent. Um, so just think about what kind of data you need to collect and how important anonymity is in your survey. So to get started, we are already under the email distributions tab from the left-hand side. So we are going to select compose email right here, this blue button in the top right-hand corner. And then you'll see a bunch of different options that you can go through. The first one, of course, is to either create a contact list or select one from your library. If you do new contact list, then this window will pop up again where you can enter their email, first name and last name, and any other information. You can even add like embedded data if you have any of that you'd like to add. That this can be like piped in to the email if you want, etc. You can also personalize your email by piping in their names. So if you want the email text to say, "Dear respondent, whoever name," what you would do is hit this insert to pipe text button. It looks like a little A with brackets around it. And you can then choose from the contacts field and then do recipient's first name and any other data that you've entered. So that can be one way to make your emails more personalized when you're sending them out. So you can pipe in any of that information, but especially names are very common to personalize the email, make it more likely that respondents will answer. After that, you just go through and select your preferred options with the rest of the distribution. You can select what you want your reply to email to be. You probably want to keep that as your AU affiliated email. You can select when to send it. You can send it now, in an hour, in a week, in 2 weeks, etc. Or you can customize it to whenever you need to send it. You can write in your subject, of course. There's also options to use messages from your library that you've used before, or you can do a global Qualtrics library here as well and search for a message that would fit with the email you're trying to send. In addition, there's also the option to like put in an inline email question. So if you hit that button, you can insert one of your survey questions into the email so that when they select the answer, they'll be taken to the survey. It just is a way to make it more likely to engage with the participant receiving the email, making it more likely that they'll respond. That's also an option right here. It's the button that looks like little bullet points. Um, so Qualtrics does a lot of different options to try and uh, increase response rates. Then you type in your text, and then at the bottom, you also have show advanced options. And if it's automatically set to individual links, but if you want to change it to anonymous links, you would do that here at the advanced options. And then you select how long the link will last. It automatically be set to expire in 60 days, but you can customize that to whatever time period you like. And then lastly, you can send a preview email to yourself. I highly recommend that just so you can see what the formatting looks like on the receiving end of the email. So you can send it to yourself and just make sure that the format and everything is matching up with how you envisioned it. So highly recommend that. All right. And I'm gonna close this by hitting cancel. And then once you sent an email distribution, you should see it here under the distribution tab. So that is the email that I sent before a few days ago. And if you hit show details, you'll be able to see the details of the distribution, how many emails were sent, how many failed, how many bounced back, if any were duplicated, if any of them finished your survey, etc. It gives you some helpful information there. And you can view the distribution by just hitting the arrow if you want to view anything else. And then you can also schedule a reminder email to send to the people in the contact list that did not answer the survey. This is only an option if you use the individual links, because if you use the anonymous links, then Qualtrics won't be able to tell who has and has not answered the survey. But if you chose to do individual links, then you can schedule a reminder email to automatically send to people that have not responded to the survey. You can also schedule a thank you email that'll automatically send to everybody that answered the survey and completed it, etc. So that's all options right here on the right-hand side arrow. And then if you do send any reminder or thank you emails, the same thing will happen. It should show up at the bottom. So this reminder email right here is beneath the original email distribution, and you can hit show details and it'll do the same thing where it shows you how many emails were sent, etc. So there you go. That's how you do email distribution. So in the next video, we'll be going over how to do distributions with mobile phones and distributions with social media, and then just finishing up by going over how to look at the distribution summary or pause collection.